I wanted to show my Conso 3000 servo motor just because I think there's still a little bit of confusion on motors on industrial sewing machines. I think a lot of people know that a clutch motor is a little bit noisy when it's running, and it kind of gives you a hum even when you're not pressing the pedal down on your machine. And so a lot of people are wanting to switch over to a servo, but what type of servo is best? And any servo will give you a nice quiet operation when you're not pressing the pedal, but while you're sewing it's much quieter still than a clutch motor, so a lot of benefits there. But a basic servo like the 550 from Conso is actually kind of a 3/4 horsepower analog style servo, so a lot of benefits there. But the one we're talking about today, the 3000 or the 3001, if you have the needle position sensor, has a number of benefits on top of that, and in fact will give you stitch-by-stitch control. The buttons on this one are nice and easy to control. The speed is adjustable. If you hit the down speed from the minimum, it'll scroll all the way up to the fastest speed. And I like that I can quickly get there because I wind bobbins at high speed. And then I just hit the plus again, and the next step is the minimum speed at 500. So once that stops flashing, you know you'll be able to sew at a nice controlled pace. There's also a needle up or needle down button, and that applies if you have a needle position sensor like this one does, and it'll just tell the machine where to stop that needle. This machine is a 206 RB5, but this motor will work with just about any industrial sewing machine, and I just like the fact that you can control the speed. You can go fast if you want to by adjusting the variable speed at the foot pedal or by adjusting the controller maximum speed. But you know, when it's set on this low speed at 500, here I go, stitch by stitch, and that's really easy. I love that for leather work because I don't want to go medium or high speed. I actually want to take it really slow if I'm doing leather upholstery, or even more so if I'm doing specialized leather work. I would say I'm ultra fussy about the speed control on my industrial sewing machines. I mean, I have that machine upstairs that has a box style speed reducer, and you can absolutely crawl on that, but functionally I really don't see much difference. And this one I can just go stitch by stitch, and that's as slow as you'd ever need to go for any type of upholstery or leather working project. Now, if you've seen any of my videos, you know that I don't leave anything stock. It's just not in my nature, and the only change I've made on this one is to swap out the 75mm motor pulley that it comes with for a much smaller 45mm pulley, and that just helps to further slow the machine down and give it a little more punching power. I also like it for careful back tacking because it automatically stops in the down position, hits your reverse, and you know you're going to get nice looking back tacks. And then heel tap, and of course that'll raise the needle up if you have that sensor. Really makes it easy for sewing your projects. So here's the needle position sensor, and that's what helps to stop it in either the up or down position, and back tap the pedal and it'll raise it immediately to the top position. But of course the 3000 or the 3001 will work perfectly with or without that sensor. I will say this motor sews differently than one with a speed reducer. There's less rolling resistance, so you don't feel that extra mass in the hand wheel. But not really better or worse, just different. And once you get used to it, it's really a nice sewing action. Another thing I guess I like is that it's compatible with not just the 206 RB5, but almost any brand or model of industrial sewing machine will work just fine. So if slowing your machine down is kind of job one in your workroom, I would say getting a servo, regardless of the brand or model, is really important. But if you go with one of these 3000 or 3001 model, depending on whether or not it has a needle position sensor, that is a really great option because it's a digital servo. It does allow the use of a needle position sensor, which can stop the needle in either the up or down position. It's just great, and it does give you that stitch-by-stitch control. So since I've added this motor, I kind of stopped looking for speed reducers. So I I think a speed reducer is another good way to go if you have a clutch motor or an analog style servo, but with this digital servo, you really don't need anything else. It'll do everything for you with just the one motor.